So it's pretty easy to be the last person because these guys pretty much shared everything, and I would concur with almost everything that's been said so far. It's a little bit ironic that the age of 8 to 9 months keeps coming up in these Holstein heifers because that's pretty much where we've been also. I think to piggyback on FX's comment about the services per conception on these donors, I've been quite amazed as we do multiple procedures on these heifers, pulled them off to breed them at 14 and a half to 15 months. They breed almost as well as an animal that's never had any procedures done to them before, which has just been a shock to me. But what I've put together for you is just some information on what's happened with our embryo production on donors we collect at our facility. We do not raise any of these donors. They come to us at least 2 weeks prior to the first collection. And once they're adapted to our environment and we assess them for their size and whether we can get the probe in them, then we'll enroll them in our program. As you can see, the young heifers, the 8-month-old heifers, are obviously lower, and then as they age, the embryo production starts to go up. This number is not necessarily the number of embryos transferred, it's the number of embryos that are shipped out of the lab. And that was the only reason I put that in there, is it's the easiest number to get. It's a little harder to get the average number of embryos that are transferred. And the other thing I would say about this slide is almost always people that are working with this population of animals are working with fairly young bulls. And there's definitely a compounding effect of young donors and young bulls that do compromise our embryo development rates. That said, it depends on the producer's goals and what he wants to do to maximize his economic benefit. Just a quick story: we had one donor that came to us with a phenomenal follicle population. He mated her to 3-4 different bulls, and he would average 10 to 12 embryos per session. He decided he wanted to use the bull Charlie about 4 or 5 months ago, I'd say. And I don't know how many of you have used him, but he was just a terrible bull at the time. He got 2 embryos back out of his 30-some oocytes, and they didn't look very good. He put both embryos in, and he got 1 pregnancy out of that. And for him, that was considered a huge success. So every situation, obviously, is different. Just have one other slide. This just looks at the other OPUs that have been done at our facility by age. And obviously, once they become cows, embryo production does increase. And again, that number of embryos that come back are the embryos that are shipped from the lab, not necessarily the embryos that are transferred. So it's somewhat artificially high because of that. So that is what I have for you. With that, we'll probably be taking some questions, I assume.